Hey people, how you going? Welcome to another episode on the YM. Today is a fun little episode. We are doing a what's in my camera bag video for 2019. Yeah, let's get right into it. But first, before we get into what's in my camera bag, we got to look at the actual camera bag itself, or bags thereof. So essentially, depending on the kind of shoot that I'm doing, or clients that I'm with, what have you, or what I'm doing up to, or what I'm getting up to that day, I guess the bag is different. But there's three primary bags that I kind of use and rotate through. So let's take a look at them now. Join me on the couch. We'll go through a couple of the bags, and we'll come back here, and then we'll go through each of the equipment or gear that I have in my bag on the day that I use, and then we'll go from there. Cool. Join me. Okay, so we're on the couch now, so I want to set the camera down and we can have a look at the camera bags that are used in these day-to-day shenanigans. Okay, so like I said before, depending on the clients that I have or the kind of photography job that I'm doing, I take a different bag, and depending on where I'm going as well, obviously the bags change, but there are three main bags that I use. This is what they look like. So, bag number one, the Nikon Shooting Master shoulder sling thing. Bag number two, we have the Lowepro ProTactic 450 all-weather backpack. This is that second edition that they really recently released, so this is that guy there. Bag number three is my newest bag as well. This is what it looks like. The F-Stop Ajna backpack. More on this in a second. So all three of these bags I kind of find different and very, very useful in their own thing. Like the Nikon Shooting Master here, because it's got that boxy, over-the-shoulder kind of look. I kind of use that mostly for, you know, like when I've got a corporate shoot or something a little bit more like business kind of oriented. That kind of looks nicer that way. I kind of just don't want to rock up to a corporate shoot and kind of look like I'm going on a mountaineering expedition, you know what I mean? So I kind of want to just break it up a little bit. As on the daily street, like urban stuff, or when I'm going hiking, yes, F-Stop's kind of great too, but if I kind of sometimes want a smaller profile, then the ProTactic backpack by Lowepro is also a really good solution there. It's a little bit more like smaller in terms of its volume. It's concentrated on like solely just camera gear, which is kind of great. So it kind of compacts it a little bit more as well. Whereas with the F-Stop, because it's an outdoor mountain, like hiking and adventure type pack, there's so much more room for other accessories and gear that you need, which I carry a lot of, which we'll get into as well. These are the three main bags that I kind of use, and I kind of switch between all of them. Depending on the shoot, I carry lots of different gear and accessories. We're gonna go back to the desk now and have a look at the main stuff that I really carry, and then we'll get into a little bit of lighting gear too that I carry around. Anyway, let's get back to the couch. Let's move. So first off in what's in my camera bag is of course the camera itself. I've been a photographer for about 6 years now, but over the last 5 of those years, I've been operating with just one body. That is the Nikon D4. Still going strong. I've had this for many, many years now, and it's still only a 16 megapixel camera, but hey, it does the job. Heavy. Definitely heavy, and it puts a little bit of weight in the bag, but it's a great thing for those sports photographers out there or that like to capture a little bit of wildlife. Shutter speed on these is what? It's like 11 frames a second. It sounds damn beautiful. You wanna have a look? Wanna have a look? Sounds pretty sexy. Mounted on top, I've got the Nikon GP1A, I guess the GPS unit on there, so it kind of geotags in a way my locations of when I'm shooting things out in the wild or whatever it is. It's kind of great for when I'm actually hiking up a mountain. I take a photo and I can actually see what like sea level I'm at or how high I'm at in terms of elevation, and gives me GPS coordinates of where I'm at. So that's kind of cool. So that's a Nikon D4. That's my body that I use. Glass. Let's talk about glass, because that's really important, obviously, because you've got to have good glass to, you know, shoot good photos with sometimes. Start with the bottom here, 14 to 24 mil, F-Stop 2.8 all the way through. Beautiful thing. I only picked this up quite recently, but it is a gorgeous. Look looking piece of glass there. Okay. But this is one of those like great wide angle things, especially on a full frame. It's really, really wide. It's amazing. That's all I need to say. It's amazing. If you're a landscape photographer, this is definitely a must-have in your arsenal. Up until recently, before I had the 14 to 24 lens, I used a different one. I used a crop sensor lens by Sigma. Used a crop sensor lens by cropped sensor lens by Sigma. It was the 8 to 16 mil, right? On a full frame, and especially on a body like a D4 where you can actually change the sensor size. This was wonderful. You do note that it is a spherical lens as well, so depending on what you're shooting and how you angle your shots with the Sigma, you gotta be careful because it does distort and warp the kind of edges a little bit. I've done plenty of architectural and real estate work with this guy, and it's been beautiful. You just gotta know, if once you play around a little bit, you kind of know, you kind of find your niche of how to use this guy. But it is actually quite handy every now and then to bust out. And the great thing about the 8mm is because it's so wide. And when I've been out traveling, I remember this one time in Helsinki, in Finland, I was taking photos of the cathedral, gorgeous looking white cathedral there. And then there was other tourists around taking photos of the same thing, but it's so big that some of you guys know, so typically a lot of tourists out there don't really have a huge arsenal of lenses. They just have the one kit lens that's on their Nikon cameras. So I was able to just go, hey, did you want to capture the whole thing? And I'll let them borrow this for a second. And like, they were amazed at how wide everything is. It just kind of like changed the whole game for them with the rest of their trip. It's kind of fun. It's been good to kind of just be like, yeah, give this a crack. Good. Anyway, Sigma 8 to 16. So we try to cover all bases from 14 mils all the way up to 200, which we'll get to in a second. But after those 14 to 24, we've got the 24 to 70 by Nikon as well. This is not the VR version, so this is your just regular lens. I guess it's the cheaper because you're not paying that extra money for the VR. But honestly, it does the job. The one thing I'm probably gonna lose out without the VR is when it comes to like events and things like that. If I'm doing some low light work, then the VR kind of probably kicks in a little bit, but I will be using an external flash anyway, or a flash unit to compensate for that, so I think it's gonna be fine. Save a few more bucks, 24 to 70 by Nikon, it's great. I'm one of those people that always has the lens hood on. I just think it looks kind of cool rather than just having like a little big mug on, you know, in front of your camera. You know, those things you see out there now, like they sell those coffee tumblers that are like the shape of the 24 to 70, both Nikon and Canon lenses. Not a fan. Like, if you have photography friends, don't get that for them. It's just don't. Cool. Okay, moving on. Next is the 70 to 200. I have still got the version 1. You know why? Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's my mentality on things. Gotta save some money when you can, because version 1 still does the job. It has some beautiful bokeh on there, especially when you're going all right to 200 mil and you kind of like to focus on your subject and actually have that nice, luscious, soft focus in the background. Perfect. And the sun is coming up, so I'm gonna change the lighting here. I've got one of those curtains that move with the snap of a finger. Ow! Joking. Fiona's right there adjusting the light for me. She's an angel! Most days. Anyway, 7200 on there. Again, always get the lens hood on there. Yeah, that's a carrot sticker by the way. From the Peter Rabbit series. There's a reason why there's a carrot on there, but you know, get into that another day. And then tucked away, I almost forgot about this lens. Tucked away is standard 50mm, 1.8 prime lens. It's always kind of good to have every now and then, just if when you want to get into that street photography mood when you're out in the streets. It's kind of just nice to have a 50mm there. It's kind of really cool. But otherwise, this is actually one of my main lenses that I use in a lot of my portrait work. Still does the job, and you know, typically if I'm shooting a subject, I'm typically shooting around f4, 5.6 or something like that anyway. But I don't know, the 50mm, this has just been one of those things that just works. It just works. If you have a 50mm lens, don't lose it, because it's a good lens. If it's a 1.8 as well, hey man, awesome, great. The 1.4 series looks amazing, and you're like, oh, I want that extra bit of glass, but I don't know, I'm still happy with the 1.8. And then we move to the accessory part. This is always a fun part. So let's start with the batteries. So with the D4, it's like the Canon 1DX. They use those really, really chunky batteries that look like this. Yeah, they're huge. They're pretty chunky in comparison to like those small W series, the Sony batteries that are like tiny, like I've got one here somewhere. That's like your average size battery, right? That's the W series in a Sony. That's what it looks like. And then compare that with the Nikon. The Nikon batteries for the D4, the Pro Body one, they're the same size as the 1DX. Huge, huge, huge. So I carry not one, not two, but three of these batteries, and these guys are not cheap. But the upside to these last freaking long time out there. But when you go to like really colder climates, you just gotta make sure you keep them warm, otherwise they just zap the cold temperatures, it zaps the energy out of them. So you just gotta keep them warm, have them on rotation, and then that's what you gotta do. But these last for days and days and days. Not the cheapest of batteries, but hey, if they're gonna last and do the job, all for it. Next I have in my bag is usually a cleaning kit. It sits in a little Nikon pouch like this. Inside we have got, I actually don't know what this is for. It's a cleaning solution, but I've never used it. I don't know how to use it, so. Then I've got a Vanguard brush there to clean any excess dirt, whatever, if I wanna look great, you know, whatever. And then of course I've got the puffer. Ooh, that's my Nikon too. I've always wanted one of those rocket puffers that you see everywhere, but it looks so chunky. I don't know where I put it in my bag. The reason I like this is because it just sits nice. It's not getting there. It's great. Does the job. That's the quick little cleaning pouch that I have. Yeah. Next on the accessory list is memory cards, because you can never have enough. The D4, I don't know if you guys know this, but it has one XQD card slot and one compact flash. XQD memory cards are not the cheapest, so I've just gone one XQD. I lost one. My mother bought me one as a present once, and I lost it in days, and that's because it was a really, really expensive one. I feel so bad, but it's okay, I lost it. So I've just been using compact flashes all the time. So I've got like 5 or 6 different compact flashes. Got all these little compact flash little carrying kits, you know, it's everywhere. There's so many of them. Is that around in my bag as well? That's always fun. What else? Other things I have lying around in the bag is like your Swiss Arca plates. So like this is like the Manfrotto, like the RC2 plates or whatever that you can never have enough of these. It's always like on the bottom of the 7200s, on the bottom of the camera or another camera if you have one. There's always kind of just stuck to something else. So I always have like a spare 1 or 2 of these laying around because you never know. You know, I got a Peak Design capture clip as well. So I keep one of those plates mounted on the bottom of the D4, and that always just clips onto the clip, or otherwise it goes onto the tripod. It's always ready to go. Good to have a spare one of these guys around as well. And then on top of that, to go with your Peak Design stuff or even a tripod head, is those Allen keys. I have gone through literally probably 30 to 40 Allen keys. I just lose them, misplace them or somewhere, and they just show up. You go buy a new packet of them or something like that, and then you go buy a new set of Allen keys, and they just, one of them just like 2 or 3 of them just appear out of nowhere again, and you're like, where the hell were you in that last shoot? Arc plates, always good to have. So let's talk lighting, right? So as I said before, depending on what kind of shoot I'm doing or where I'm going to do my shoots, I take a little bit of gear, but my daily stuff is what we've just covered, the cameras and the lenses and the batteries, all that kind of stuff. If I am going to a shoot where I need to light up a bar, like recently I did a shoot in this big little like open function room, and there was like a bar in the background, but due to the certain lighting there, the natural lighting there wasn't great. So I had to kind of illuminate an external flash that lights up the bar. Right, it's like an aperture key light sort of thing. So I kind of lit that up as the shutter goes off. So that was kind of cool. So to take some extra lighting with me, I usually take my speed lights. These guys. So I've got 2 SB700 speed lights there by Nikon. They do the job. And to remote trigger them, I usually use because I'm not the richest of people. So in other camera bag reviews and things like that, you'll see people with like high-end gear, and you're like, how the heck am I gonna afford that? Do I need all that kind of stuff to do the work? Honestly, probably not. You can make do what you do, right? You gotta start somewhere, but I'm the same. So I used to, or still do, remote release these SB700 with that cheap brand trigger set called Yongnuo. I actually don't know how to pronounce it. They look like these guys. They sit on the bottom of the speed lights, and on top of my D4 sits this guy here, the Yongnuo flash trigger there. And these are like, what? In Australian dollars, these cost 80 bucks, not even. They were damn cheap, and then nowadays on eBay they're cheaper as well, so that was great. So I use them to remote trigger my speed lights, which is kind of cool. Otherwise, sometimes I carry, when I go outdoors, a knife. I usually have the Swiss Army knife in the top there too, but on the mountains on the side, I usually have a little hunting knife. I think you just never know what you're gonna need it for. Like, I've used it countless times to cut rope, whether it be, like, I don't know, when I'm hiking, I need to, you know, dismount myself or something because I'm like hooked onto something, I need to cut myself free. It's happened. The knife here, this is a Gerber little knife there. It's amazing. Fantastic. What else? Lighting. Recently, I don't know if you've seen the video, I unboxed this Godox 8200 strobe unit. So that kind of sits in one of my bags or mounted to the side of it as well every now and then. One of these bad boys. Yeah. It's got a speed light and it comes with a strobe that you can mount onto it. It's pretty cool. Check the unboxing. It's in my channel somewhere. Have a look. Then I guess that needs to be remotely triggered as well. So in my bag, when I take the Godox the flash there, I've got in the Lowepro Gear Up Pouch Mini, as they call it. I've got the Godox triggers sitting in there nice and snug. This bad boy there sits on top of the Nikon D4. Oh, my partner's amazing. She just knows. She just knows when the lighting just needs to be just. Thank you. High five.
Just for myself, but
I love you. Yeah. And then you know, the 8200's light, or the strobe, has already got a built-in transmission system, so this just remote triggers that from there. And if I ever want to use that and my 2-speed lights, then I just attach these two Godox triggers onto the speed light, onto the bottom of the speed lights as well, and then that's it, and then that remotes them and the strobe at the same time. So boom, powerful stuff. Oh, important thing, tripod. Hang on. So the other thing is, for landscape photographers or any photographer out there, tripods are quite important. So what's mounted on mine is Coleman, right? It's a German company. Thank you. Should be a lighting system. Got a Coleman branded tripod here. Used to have a Manfrotto, which is also why I have a Manfrotto head. Problem is, because I don't have an L bracket on my D4, it's hard when I have to rotate the camera to a portrait orientation, because it kind of gets a little bit heavy. But still does the job. I'm really looking forward to trying out Peak Design's new travel tripod that they announced on Kickstarter. That looks amazing, and I can't wait to try it because it looks lightweight as hell. It's gonna be well worth the money, I'd say. Man, I've been waiting for somebody to just reinvent the tripod, and these guys, I feel like, have done it. And I cannot wait to see all the other reviews. Other YouTubers out there like Peter McKinnon's and what have you have done have had an early sneak peek at it. So jealous. But it looks amazing. It looks amazing, and I can't wait to chuck that in there. But yeah, that's probably about it. That's really what's in my camera bag as of June 2019. Like I said, I'm all about, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'd like to keep my gear simple. I'm not always going to be like, oh, every year upgrade this, upgrade that. The recent lenses I purchased was the Nikon 24-70 and the 14-24. But up until then, I hadn't upgraded lenses in a very long time, you know, because you can make do with what you've got, always. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Leave a comment down below with, you know, what gear you like, what gear you might have questions for, or other feedback that you might have as well for me. That'd be great. But I would love to hear some of your experience of this, some of the gear that you may have here with me, alongside with me. Any questions, please comment below. Always happy to answer, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, as always, thank you for tuning in, and like, comment, and subscribe, and please hit that bell icon next to the subscribe button. Always helps me out there. But until next time, I'll catch you later. Thanks again for lighting. Thanks, Steve. Alright guys, catch you soon. Bye!